where last we left, we're going to start with Yonkers and what happened to Yonkers. So, Yonkers, the last thing that you remember is that you were at a meeting with the team, that you had left the meeting with your primary employer, the nice-looking elf lady that met you at a restaurant. And she gave you a job to go into this building in the containment zone near the fallout zone, you guys had realized. And the idea was to go in there, get a node off their servers that contained ownership data for the building. The building is formerly Valley Rose Pharmaceuticals building within the blast zone of Chicago's containment zone. So you got done with that meeting and you guys were planning on prepping up, and you got a phone call from another lady who was interested in... She apparently mysteriously knew about the job that you guys got and said that you would probably be really interested in hearing what she had to say because she knew some things that you guys might want to know and was really interested in meeting you guys. So you all met up with her at a place of your choosing. You actually met up at Chicago's own pizzeria, since you guys knew that place as a neutral meeting ground. She met up with you, and to make a long story short, she told you that the information that this woman was having you look for was not just ownership data. Apparently this information also contains research data for a vaccine for Fab 3, which is pretty scary magical bacteria that can do some serious hurt to magical people. So apparently she claims that the data on this node also contains pharmaceutical research that was being done on a vaccine to vaccinate against Fab 3. And she's worried that the corporation that your elf employer has, she's worried that that corporation would get that information and is even looking for that information to use it for potentially nefarious means, like maybe vaccinating their own people in order to weaponize Fab 3 again and use it, who knows what. She was very concerned about that. The team basically decided to decline her offer. One thing kind of led to another. Davros gave her an ultimatum involving trying to do a mind probe on her, and she got very upset and offended and got up and spouted off what was interpreted at least as a threat that she was going to send another team of runners out to go find that. Since if you guys weren't going to do it, she was going to send another team of runners to get there before you guys did. Your teammates interpreted that as a threat against them, against their safety, and again, one thing led to another, and Malibu had kind of told Haunted House to snatch her up in the van and go. She unfortunately had some bodyguards. You ended up getting into a car chase in the streets of Chicago. The cars crashed, and there was a shootout in the streets, which led to Lone Star showing up, and then Malibu let slip a grenade that blew up a Lone Star officer, and then backup arrived. But I'm getting ahead of myself here because the last thing that Yonkers remembers is being in a taxi cab following the car chase. Most of the team jumped in a cab and told the cabbie, follow that car, because Haunted House was in his van by himself chasing down the Johnson, or the potential Johnson, who is trying to get you guys to double-cross your employer. Anyway, you guys were following the car chase, and when the cars crashed, everybody did all right except Yonkers, who I guess didn't have his seatbelt on, hit his head in the taxi cab, and so you have just woken up after being knocked unconscious. You've just woken up in the cab on the side of the street, and the cab driver is in the back, kind of like splashing some water on your face and like slapping your face, saying, "Hey, buddy, Are you okay? You okay?
Yonkers, being woken up after with a bleary headache, reaches for a gun.
All right, the cab driver says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, buddy, dude, you remember me? You remember me? Hey, I'm not. I'm a friend. I'm a friend.
Where the dreck am I?
Hey, okay, so your buddies. Let me just. You hit your head. Let me remind you what happened. Your buddies. They asked me to chase down this car. We found them. They all jumped out, but I guess you hit your head and you were knocked out. But there was one of your pals over there tossed a grenade, and and Lone Star was there, so I got the dreck out. But we're about a couple miles away, and I just wanted to wake you up and make sure you were okay, that you didn't hit your head too hard."
Yonkers does a quick once-over himself, trying to judge himself in the reflection of one of the mirrors, and patting himself down to make sure that he's not sans anything.
Yeah, everything's there. So this guy seems to be pretty legit. He's just, aside from the bump on Yonkers' head, everything seems to be just fine.
Cool. I look for the guy. Did they pay you?
No, but it's no problem. It's. I just didn't want my cab to get exploded. I'm happy that didn't happen.
Right. All right. I chuck 500 new yen on a cred stick at the guy and step out of the car and start looking for street signs.
When he looks at it, you're kind of out of the car already, out of the cab already, playing cool Yonkers, and he looks at it, and once he realizes how much is on there, he kind of looks back at you and gives a knowing nod, and that says, "Your secret's safe with me," so to speak, and drives off.
All right. Yonkers is going to start taking on street corners and judge the streets, and then open up his comlink.
All right. If you noticed anything on the news through your comlink feeds or anything, there are news reports popping up saying, breaking news, shootout and explosions on streets in South Milwaukee, and that's your friends. You would gather.
All right. Guess I'm first going to make a phone call to. I guess Case is the most responsible person on the team next to me.
Ooh, Davros.
Davros is too young to be responsible. He's still in college.
Hey, man, where you been?
Yeah, you guys are getting that phone call as you're still actually headed to the vault. You've probably just, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, just got out of your final car chase, escaping the Knight Errant High Threat Response Team. Or rather, the Lone Star High Threat Response Team.
Lone Star Rangers.
Hey, man, you need to meet us at the hotel. We're on our way there. We're a little banged up, so I don't know where you went off to, but better hurry.
I don't know. Seems like I got left in a particular taxi cab when you guys had a car accident and left me. What the fuck, man? What the drecking hell?
I told that taxi I'd give him $100 to stick around. He took off. Sorry.
And he took off with me.
I was busy dodging a friend of the grenades. Where are you at? We'll swing by and pick you up.
Don't worry about it. I'll meet up with you.
Now, last I remember, just to interject, you guys were headed to the vault to get some free medical treatment from Martin Tate. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
That's what I remember.
Where are you guys going?
We're heading to the vault. We need to get patched up here. That was a little bit of a fight that we just got into. So if you want to meet us there.
That's in the CZ, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to see if I can't get a ride in. I'm going to... roughly how far in distance am I from them?
And you're not that far away from them. Maybe 10 minutes driving time from them.
All right. Well, I look up and down the street. What is there in terms of vehicles, bicycles, etc.?
Roll me your edge.
I have one success.
All right. Yeah, there's a two-door, kind of small vehicle.
There's a Honda Jackrabbit.
There you go. Yeah.
I shoulder my magical murder bag, walk over, do a look up and down the street, and go around to the passenger side window and elbow it in.
All right. It breaks. You can get it into the car.
And I'm going to use lockpicking and try and boost the car. Yeah, I could try and hotwire it blind, I guess.
Yeah, you could potentially like break open the lock case and wire it, but it's going to require a like hot wiring a car, so to speak, isn't an electronic skill like you might think. It's actually falls under locksmith in the Shadowrun rules.
Yep. I'm going to try and. I have a small crowbar and stuff, and I have a knife. I'm going to try and pop it open and hotwire it real quick.
All right, so it's 2 rolls. First one is to get it open. So roll your locksmith plus your agility.
2 successes.
All right, so the rating, let's say, this is an extended test, so roll it again with the -1.
Now 4 successes.
Yeah, about 5-6 seconds you were able to get it open. It took some prying. You've had some experience with this and with your criminal past, and you're able to get it open. It's an older car too, so you've got it open and the wires are exposed. So as you're flipping through, the wires, finding the right ones, stripping them, trying to get them together, go ahead and give me another locksmith plus agility test.
1 success.
All right, go ahead again with a -1. This is also an extended test.
Now I'm at 4.
All right, you've got it. It took you another 5 or 6 seconds. So all in the span of about 10 or 12 seconds, you're able to get it open and hotwire it, and boom, it starts up.
I start driving.
All right. Now, one thing that you are aware of, and you probably would have known this ahead of time, is that you can see that there is a blinking light that indicates that it's that the lock has been tampered with, and it will notify the owner.
That's fine. I don't need it to run very long.
All right. So yeah, it all depends on how long they decide to take in responding to it. Maybe they'd have to notify the authorities, who would then have to. But the point is that it can be tracked.
Essentially, I drive it, moving as fast as I can towards the CZ and try and get within a running block of them before, hopefully, and I'll just ditch the car in an alley.
We'll say that between the conversations you've had with Malibu in the past about, smuggling routes into and out of the containment zone, how to avoid the, potential Lone Star checkpoints and stuff, you remember enough. You're able to get into the containment zone and get to the vault. And you guys are all there now.
All right. Well, as I said, I ditched the car a block or 2 away and walk in.
On the way to the vault, not too long, probably about the same time that you got the phone call from Yonkers, actually, Davros became aware of the fact that, suddenly aware of the fact that his spirit that he summoned, he lost the connection with. It's a safe assumption that the spirit was destroyed.
Gotcha. Oh, I guess I forgot to call him back.
Yeah, he remained attacking the high threat response vehicle.
My bad.
Since that was your last command.
Guten Tag, Herr Yonkers. You got a little lost.
So you guys are going to be headed into Martin Tate's clinic. He sees you guys come in and he says, welcome. How can I help you guys? It's been a little while since we last talked.
About that free medical care.
He looks at you and he looks at Malibu and he says, oh, right, yes. It's quite obvious why you're here. Please come with me. He ushers you over to a table and has a nurse start helping you and starts prepping you and whatnot to, take care of business. She gets some materials out and then he comes over and, removes shrapnel from cases, arms and body and, your guys' jackets are off and whatnot. And basically Malibu and Case are going to be being worked on for just a little bit. Everybody else is fine. If you had some stun damage by any chance, then you were given some medications to take care of that. Davros his stun damage will have to go away over time because it was all gained from drain.
Yep.
While they're getting medical treatment, I'm going to activate my fly spy drone again while I still have Clearsoft loaded up and slaved to it on my RCC. And I'm going to play back the chemical signatures that it collected from inside the vehicle and have it start searching in the vicinity of where we were attacked to see if it can track any of them down.
I walk over a house. Oi, Ome.
Yeah, Yonkers, what's up? What can I help you with?
May have a small problem.
Small problem by Yonkers standards or small problem in the English-speaking world?
Yonkers standards, I guess, because I'm Yonkers. I ditched the car about 2 or 3 blocks over, up on 27th and 5th.
Okay. Was this the car that you just managed to get into off the street?
Yeah, had a low jack on it. So, I mean, we're in the CZ. I doubt Lone Star's going to come running for it, but they might.
Okay. Let me go see if I can go either shut down the homing beacon or find a way to get the car away from the clinic. Do you have a preference? Do you think we're going to need a second set of wheels?
In my case, I think it's a burner. I mean, it's 3 blocks over, but it's close enough where we probably want to keep our, not go anywhere near it and keep our heads down.
Okay, in that case, I'll activate a second drone and I'll just have it sit and observe and see if we have any law enforcement comes this far into the CZ.
Sounds good.
And so I activate one of my micro skimmer drones, the ones that are shaped roughly like a coaster, same dimensions, and I have it just go remote pilot it over about a block away, looking in the direction of the car that Yonkers ditched.
Are you going to have it hanging out there, or what are you having done with that?
Yeah, I'm going to have it loiter in the airspace about 9 feet above street level, and I'm just going to periodically jump into its feed and look for any oncoming traffic with flashing lights.
Got it. Now, your other fly spy that you sent over to the area to go searching for your quarry is, when it gets relatively close, it sees that there's like a whole big investigation kind of situation set up where you guys were, with a lot of Lone Star and a lot of investigators and a lot of official looking vehicles and lights and people there. Do you want the drone still entering the area?
No, as soon as it relays that back, I'm going to just recall it.
All right, so the way that this works with healing is your physician gets to roll his medicine skill to add dice. Yeah, each hit provides an additional dice to subsequent healing tests the character makes. So Martin Tate got 4 successes for you, Case. So basically you're going to make some natural recovery tests, and you get to add an extra 4 dice in there, and this will determine how long it takes for you to heal.
All right, you're going to have to remind me what that roll is.
Absolutely. It's an extended test. Do you have any stun damage?
No, I've got 5 physical.
All right, so you need to make a body times 2 extended test, and now it's +4. Body times 2 +4. The interval is 1 day, so each roll is 1 day. Each hit heals a box of damage.
3 successes, and I believe that's pretty much all we're going to have time for. How long do you think we're going to spend here, guys? I don't think we should spend too long. In fact, I kind of hate to waste an entire day, especially since we've got another team that seems to be going to go after this. Like I said, I almost hate to waste an entire day even waiting on me healing up to get started.
Martin Tate definitely advises, after examining your wounds, advises and says, I strongly urge you to at least take a day off of your feet. Of course, my medical opinion is for you to stay in my care until you're completely recovered, but the nature of people that are in your line of work, they don't always listen to my advice, but I would be remiss if I didn't give it.
So we have the address of the next delivery point that we have work for, yes?
Yes. It's inside the CZ in a radioactive area.
Well, we
And
need to go pick up the rad gear anyways. I don't think it's going to be a wasted day if you need to rest, especially if Davros needs to rest as well, because I can still do a lot of investigation and preliminary legwork while you guys catch a few Z's.
Yeah, I definitely could use a day to rest. If we get another battle like that one, I might not last all the way through.
I think this is a time that we maybe we just do a quick split up. Me and Yonkos can take point while you two rest up, and then we'll reconnect later on.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Besides, you were amazing when you were at full strength. I want to see that kind of action again.
Well, I got to say, maybe it was that extra metal, but I did some of my best work after I got hit by the grenade. All that metal improving my conductivity.
Well, Yonkers, do you want to come with me to go pick up our radiation gear and respirators? And we can leave them here to recuperate, eat some jello, watch some terrible Tridio.
We need to pick up some fast meals or something, some krill fill.
Well, then how about I drop you off outside the CZ and you can pick up consumable supplies while I go rendezvous with where we're getting our protective gear.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I can get something resembling a sleeping bag at a stuffer.
Okay, so Haunted House is going to get Yonkers into the van, which has been disguised since they broke away from the chase earlier. And they're going to leave the CZ heading west, looking for the nearest stuffer shack to drop Yonkers off.
All right, it's easy to find one. Stuffer shacks are on every corner.
And then afterwards, weren't we supposed to be getting our... we had some jumpsuits with radiation shielding and respirators that were going to be delivered the same afternoon?
Yeah, you have a contact to find, and you can just... as long as you take the time to go meet with the person, you can just add those to your inventory and just make sure that you're, take the new yen off your sheet and everything. We don't need to, play through that. You can just get it. No problem.
Do we have a Geiger counter?
All of my drones are equipped with Geiger counters as well as my vehicles.
Okay. You do your thing, and then I'll catch up with you on what I'm thinking about doing.
Well, I was just going to collect all of the... they were Urban Explorer jumpsuits with rating 3 radiation shielding, and we had rating 3 respirators, I believe, that we had put in an order for as well. So everybody should have that after I come back to the clinic and pass them out.
All right, by the time you're back at the clinic, Case is probably feeling a little sleepy. He's been given some painkillers but everybody else is, I guess, doing their own thing. It's pretty quiet there in the clinic.
Case is just laying there relaxing, playing a little online games.
Yeah, Dad was just there reading, catching up on textbook and homework and stuff.
Homework? School year hasn't started yet.
He likes to get, he bought all of his textbooks early so he could read them all before school started. He has to make sure he's all caught up so he can tutor Kumaya.
All right, well, Wednesday, the 6th of August comes around and, Case has got his 3 boxes of damage healed. Everybody's got some rest.
In the overnight hours, I'm going to send 2 of my drones over to the location where we're going to be investigating just to get readings off of their Geiger counters for how hot it is. I'm going to slave both of them to my RCC, and I'm going to upload ClearSoft, the AutoSoft, to both of them so that they can both make perception tests on their own using their sensor array. And I the big thing I'm looking for is, first of all, how radioactive it is and whether or not it's homogeneous or if there's one side of the building that seems to be better or worse than the others.
Go ahead and do the perception test, I guess.
The first drone got 1 success, and the second drone got 2 successes.
All right, the radiation sensors kind of let you know that it's not hot enough here to cause any immediate issues. As long as you're not spending a lot of time there, it's actually not so bad that you'd probably, for the amount of time that you are intending to be there, you should be fine without. Most people should be fine without protective gear. If you were going to spend a lot of time there, that'd be maybe a different issue. The blast was kind of 20 years ago, and basically the Geiger counters tell you that it's relatively safe. It's above normal. You wouldn't want to set up, your home there, but it's not as bad as maybe you thought it would be.
When the drones come back with that information, I ask Martin if he can, or if he knows of somebody who can perform a full radioactive decontamination.
Yes, we have the facilities here to handle radiation poisoning if need be.
Okay. Well, hopefully none of us exposed directly and poisoned as a result, but we are going to be going into the hot zone.
Am I in?
For a short period of time, and so when we exit the hot zone, we're just going to need to be hosed off and then have our exterior gob safely disposed of.
Understood. We, of course, as I said, are equipped for that. It's not an uncommon an uncommon request, as you might imagine, here in the containment zone.
Wunderbar. I'll be in contact with you when we are exiting, and then you can let us know what the proper protocol will be.
As a quick aside, everybody remember to refresh a single point of edge for yourselves, simply because you got a full night's rest.
Well, I went to a stuffer shack and I picked up some water bottles, some krill-filled cakes, and a sleeping bag.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And then I was going to have House drop me off near the run location prior to going back to the vault, but I guess I'm going to ask him to do it now after he tells me all the exciting stuff he's learned.
My pretty mechanical babies went over while everybody was sleeping and or shopping to just go see how hot it is. The background radiation, it is present, but it does not appear to be extreme. We're going to have protective gear, and we plan to spend less than 24 hours on the premises before exiting the hot zone, so we should be fine as long as nobody has a breach on their equipment.
I'm going to get I want you to drop me off near over there. I'm going to make sure that the other running team doesn't get there first.
Okay, I'm going to leave one of my drones with you, and I'm going to jump in to check with it directly every 3 hours, unless you see something suspicious and you need me to do continuous coverage. I have their scents tracked electronically, so I can do a full scan and see if any of them are in the area and they're not doing a very good job of protecting their chemical signature.
Yeah, I'll have you set up on speed dial on my comm.
Yonkers, I can take you to the edge of the radiation blast zone, and then because of the terrain, you're going to have to hike in from there.
That's fine.
Just remember, try not to breach or expose your skin. Do not take your respirator off. I've already arranged with the doc back at the clinic. He'll do a full decontamination of us once we've completed the job.
I'm not too worried, living forever and all that.
Well, this isn't the kind of radiation that will give you superpowers or make you glow in the dark, although it might make you glow in the dark.
I'm not worried. Let me get my stuff packed up and we can go do this tango.
All right, I've got the van outside. Let me know when you're ready to take off.
Yonkers is going to get out the Drogonov that he has, the SVD, get that loaded up and ready, and some other bits and pieces from his magical murder bag, and get the sleeping bag and the food kind of stored some way inside the sleeping bag, and up and away.